would you do it? Would you do it? Now, it is a situational one-side board sweeper. Obviously, the creatures that you're killing have to be targetable. That's the first thing. It's not toxic. It's not toxic. It doesn't kill your own creatures, Durzo, the combo I'm referring to. We were actually just talking about it earlier in the chat. You guys may not have been paying attention. That's okay. This Lingering Soul, though, should just maybe grind out his deck entirely. Once he's got some sideboard tech for souls, I think it's going to do just fine. He's going to take the Confidant. Does it destroy all green creatures? No. It kills all targetable creatures. Alright, I'm going to go Flagstone Souls. Yeah. Assuming Remand. It's not Wrath of God either. It's not Slaughter Pact. Wow. It synergizes with... Oh, jeez. You guys are so close. It synergizes with Soulfire. Liturgy of Blood? No, neither. Does he have the combo again? I don't have the discard mechanic, do I? Let's see if he has it. That would be frustrating. I assume that he does. He's probably running playsets of both. I just don't have the removal spell here, do I? Talos says it has to be damage based. You guys are all so close, though. It's funny. Oh, there it is. That would have taken the Thief. That would have taken the Days Undoing. That's too bad. I just want to get a look. Don't you? Before we scoop Reno. Just want to see what else he's running or sideboarding into. Blood Crypt is probably the correct land here. Yep. But Free Will, you already knew the answer, so that's not fair. Punishing Fire does work, Nirvana Nerd, well with Soulfire, but no, I'm talking about Covenant. The name of the deck that we brewed is called Soulfire Covenant. I can show it to you guys. We could maybe actually grind this out, but I have no interest in doing so. Alright. I can't think of the name, but it's CMC, 1 black red, deal X damage. It's not Covenant of Minds. You want to see it? I haven't rebrewed that deck forever. It's still like back in the days of Dig Through Time, I think. That was a long time ago, actually, when thinking about legacy timetables, isn't it? Kami says, remember, get yourself some sleep. Tomorrow's Easter. Yeah, it's like 1 in the morning. We can talk briefly about this, at least. So, Legacy Covenant. This is where we left off with the deck. We did like a really greedy 4-color Punishing Fire, Soulfire Covenant. This is where we left off. So, Elemental Blasts. I think we ended up going with a Stoneforge Mystic kind of Stoneblade Soulfire build. This match of Stink I could get out was Nevermore. Nevermore is actually a little better than people might realize, but you need the deck to have synergy. So Death Rites, Hand Hate, Chains of Mephistopheles, Hymn to Turok. Just really just grindy deck, actually, what we built here. We won quite a few matches with it. I haven't played it in a long time, though. This is back before we had the Forces online. I had Forces in paper at the time. But everybody was like, oh man, you play Legacy, we should brew a Legacy deck. I was like, well dudes, this was like over 2 years ago, I think. I think at the time we didn't have the Forces, so we were like, man, we should brew something though. And it looked kind of like this. Yeah, Chains, Punishing Fires and Groves, Decays, Gaddock Teagues, Jite. This is actually before we had more Wastelands too, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's get away from these. Let's rebrew this. Let me open a new copy. Let's try to rebrew this for the new metagame. Maybe more choke. What about Trinosphere? No, Canonus solves that. Canonus is kind of not equivalent, but they serve similar roles. We could go to the Lightning Bolts again, Swords to Plowshares again. We should run more Chain. I do have more copies of Chain. There's so many Brainstorm decks being played right now. Chains is like a lot better right now than it's ever been. Maybe main deck 2, sideboard 1. We can cut the Manriki. Maybe it doesn't look cute. I love that card, but it's adorable. Let's go up on Covenants. Let's just have the combo more often. Combo, it's a synergy. So Fire Covenant. Does everybody understand what's going on between the Covenant and the Soulfire? We can also recur Thought Seizes and Power Blasts, which is neat. Let's just have the combo more often. Let's run more lands. This is probably wrong. Let's run a 2 of. That's maybe too much Scrubland. Give me some more Wasteland. Is this deck greedy on the mana base? Absolutely. Does it work? You betcha. Not every time, but most of the time. Let's see, we got some Wastelands we can borrow. Fire Covenant was the synergy? Yes. I mean, we can run as many. I know they don't match because I'm borrowing some of them. Some of them are gifts. Actually, this deck wanted more Verdant, didn't it? Basic Swamp, basic. Wow, just basic Swamp. Holy hell, that's greedy. That is so. I mean, it's a Deathrite Shaman deck, so maybe that's okay. That is so greedy. Carmen says, do you have to declare the damage for Covenant before it resolves? Yeah, you do. Yeah, so as an additional cost to cast Fire, pay X life. Fire Covenant deals X damage divided as you choose. Which is like a reason to not even need the Persecution, by the way. I think that's just overkill if we're going to run a playset of this card. Every blue deck has Brainstorm, so I switched to 12 post. Yeah, you can main deck the other chains. Like, here's the funny thing is, even some of the blue, like non-blue decks are still drawing a lot of cards. Elves is a prime example. Elves is a non-blue deck that is affected by chains. There's a couple others, you know, like, what's a good example? Other decks that like to draw lots and lots of cards that have nothing to do with blue besides elves? That might actually be the only exception. Oh, thank you, Storm. Well, no, Storm still runs Brainstorm, though, Durzo. I was trying to think of the non-Brainstorm decks in the format that like to draw lots of cards. I think Elves might be the only exception. I'm sure there's something. Legacy's so wide open. There's definitely other decks that exist that might just not be seeing play right now. So we got a Jite and a Battle Skull. Somebody the other day suggested Feast and Famine to me, and I was like, really? We could go with Tarmogoyf, so I'm borrowing Goyf. We could go with Goyf. We've got a lot of different types. Like, this would also be like a Liliana deck, potentially. We could really soup this deck up, couldn't we? By the way, I think we should run more Covenants than we run Soulfires, by the way. Potentially. Yeah, this could be a Tarmogoyf deck. It's a lot of main deck him. This could be a Tarmogoyf deck. This could be a Liliana deck. Yeah, we could really soup this thing up. A lot of the cards we didn't have for this deck, we maybe have for it now. That would fully breed us into 4-color though if we add the add the Tarmogoyf. this into this color combination. I think that's a lot of hand hate from the main deck. The deck's already pretty grindy. I think there's not much to be lost with the main deck Teak outside of being able to hardcast the Battle Skull. So I think a lot of the changes need to happen in the sideboard. I don't know why this is opening. I don't need to look. Yes, I want to do this later. Don't need to look at that. Alright, so Canonists, Power Blasts, Grudge, Choke, Decay, another Teague, Sword of Fire Ice, Needle, Bomb, Cage. So I need to move one card to the sideboard and then make 5 cuts. Okay. It's a lot of Hindaturok. Him's great. Don't get me wrong. I like him a lot. I think him should be a 2 to 3 of in this deck minimum. I think we can trim one Soulfire. And there's some you're like, no, but it's the combo. But it's like, you want more Covenants than you want Soulfires, I imagine. I also just added a lot more bodies. And you could go down on Punishing. You really just need to see one. You want to see it, though, in certain matches. Don't get me wrong. You know what's funny is the splash seems to be white. We're going more Jund-like. It's kind of like Jund splashing white now that I look at this deck. Right, white for Teague, Hardcast, Souls, Soulfires, and Stoneforges. Yeah. It's a lot of Abrupt Decay, actually. That's between the main and the side, 4 copies. Maybe just do that. I mean, Decay is great, though. Don't get me wrong. It's close. I like having a little more disruption in the main, actually. Combo is the big concession game one. We're pretty grindy. This deck is pretty grindy, but the big concession would be some of the unfair matchups. I mean, Gaddock Teak can alleviate that. You can even like try to go to a Green Sun Zenith package if you wanted to. You could. Here's a Chains. So 2 cuts, one in the main, one in the sideboard. I'm tempted to maybe cut a Punishing. I know this seems crazy. I'm only running 3 Groves, by the way, anyway. So how often will we have Grove Punishing? Not as often as I'd like. I mean, I'd like the Covenant to kind of carry us as far as the creature removal game 1 is concerned. I mean, Punishing Fire, don't get me wrong, is very grindy. It's also very slow. Whereas Fire Covenant can clear out a board like that. And a lot of people don't anticipate it. I've had a lot of opponents just be like, wait, what just happened to my board? Like, well, I cast this spell. They're like, oh, well, that's pretty good. I know you love Chains, Trix. I know you like Chalice and Chains. I know you like this deck too. This is my second try on Soulfire Covenant. This is version, I guess, 3 of that. 3.0. I know you like it. And you get to run Choke at no disadvantage, which is, that's when you want to run Choke, trust me. Cage, Bomb, another Teague. Maybe that's overkill. No, Teague is really good. In Legacy, I actually really like Teague quite a bit. Grudge, some Pyros. You know, let's just go with a 2 of Chain. Let's have another Hindaturok on the side. Let's go with a 2 of. And when it really shines, bring in the second copy. Would I play this? Absolutely. Do I think it's well positioned now? No. There's a lot of combo. And there always will be. It's Legacy. At least on Magic Online, there's a lot of combo, but I'll screenshot this if you guys want to play it. It's totally, I think, a nice deck to get into if you're coming from Modern and you have Jund. This is a good place to go. And it's I wouldn't call this a combo deck. I would